Hi, this is Joseph, the host and creator of Sci-Fi Graveyard, as hosted by the Heart of Geek. Is there a topic that you love to talk about? Would you love to share that topic with millions of listeners around the globe? If so, then you're almost there to starting your own podcast. The only thing you need is Anchor.fm. With Anchor.fm, you can record, edit, and publish your own podcast to the Anchor site and to popular podcasting sites around the world. So what are you waiting for? If you'd like to get started, all you need to do is head to the Play Store on Android or the App Store if you have an iPhone. Start the download and get recording today. Thank you for listening to Sci-Fi Graveyard, and on to the podcast. Hello, everyone, and welcome to another episode of Sci-Fi Graveyard, hosted by the Heart of Geek. This is Joseph with Jeremy and Josh, and we're going to continue our trip down Resident Evil way by talking about the second film and the original series franchise, original film series franchise, Resident Evil Apocalypse. Resident Evil Apocalypse was released in theaters on September 10th, 2004 in the United States and was produced by Davis Films, Impact Pictures, and Constantine Films. The film was released through Screen Gems branch of Sony Pictures. The film stars a returning Milla Jovovich as Alice, and only Eric Mabius, I don't know how to pronounce his last name, through archive footage. The film also stars Sienna Guillory, I'm probably pronouncing that as well, as Jill Valentine, a fan favorite of the game series. And the film also brings in Oded Fehr as Carlos Oliveira. I consider him a film fan favorite because I think a lot of people liked him, even though that character was in Resident Evil Nemesis. And Mike Epps as character in this film as LJ. The film also introduces the film series to Dr. Isaacs, as played by Ian Glenn. People remember Oded Fehr from 1999's The Mummy, starring Brendan Fraser, and Mike Epps from Bait and Next Friday. And the film was written by Paul W.S. Anderson. However, it was directed by Alexander Witt. This was Alexander Witt's first time directing after directing Resident Evil Apocalypse. He wouldn't direct another movie for 14 years. However, he did do some. I'm misreading my own text. Which, according to IMDb, his next directing duty after that was a Land Rover promo for the movie No Time to Die. As with the first Resident Evil movie, the infected were mainly played by professional dancers. They attended a boot camp where the two cardinal rules were don't drag your feet and don't stretch out your arms. The trailer of this film was one of the most watched on the internet with 8.5 million downloads from November 23rd to November of 2003. I can't read to May 2004. This is what sucks when you work a long day and then have to try to function as a human. And a little bit of trivia about Oded Fehr. He was actually familiar with handling guns as he was trained in the Israeli army.
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yeah. The Nemesis makes his debut in this film and is the fate of the character played by Eric Mabius. As in the last film, he was transferred to the Nemesis Project. His only dialogue in this film is the word S.T.A.R.S. And that's because in this film and in the game Resident Evil 3, he is primarily hunting down the members of S.T.A.R.S, with him being actually the main antagonist of Resident Evil 3, the video game. But here he serves as more of a henchman for the main antagonist, which I would actually call is Dr. Isaacs, but Major Kane, the douchebag, the douchebag that deals with was it Sherry Burke? I can't remember the name of the scientist. My brain just Ashford, Dr. Ashford. Dr. Ashford who's watching over him. This movie is basically Resident Evil 2 the game and Resident Evil 3 the game, with Alice thrown in, since Alice is an original character to the movies and not from one of the game series. And did you know, and I think we talked about this when we did Star Trek Nemesis, did you know that Star Trek Nemesis had a hand in the name of this movie?
Knowing that they had the Nemesis name? Other than that, they would have probably named it Nemesis, I'm sure.
Yeah, they were gonna name it Resident Evil Nemesis, but thanks to Star Trek Nemesis being released in 2002, and of course Star Trek Nemesis, more specifically, had disappointing box office numbers, and so they were like, "Yeah, we're gonna change the name." So
Which is
that's why it
so,
became Apocalypse.
which that's the logic for movie people. Oh shit!
Yeah,
There's another movie that had the name Nemesis in it. It's totally the reason why the
it's
movie
totally.
sucked or bombed was because
Yeah, it
it was
wasn't.
called Nemesis.
Yeah, because honestly, this wasn't an apocalyptic thing
No,
until
it wasn't. To the third one,
yeah,
Extinction.
yeah. I mean, so well, you could say at the end of the movie is when it became apocalyptic.
Yeah.
Place got blown up, but anyways,
That's mostly
Well,
why
when
I
they
love this movie, though. Like,
nuked.
yeah, when they the city, which again, well, I guess we'll talk about our thoughts when we.
Yeah. People criticize the outfit choices by the women given the situation. Not
Like Jill
expl.
Valentine's skimpy shorts and the
Yeah, her skirt and her. Yeah. Well, in the
dude,
game.
I for real like the outfit, but like in the game with Jill Valentine, that was like her outfit in Nemesis, so I
Yeah.
didn't care about that all that much. I actually
Well.
liked Alice's outfit though, like the
Yeah, they
shorts and
didn't.
the and like how she had the swords and all that, or like all the weapons and stuff like that. I thought
That was
that
pretty
was
cool.
actually. I mean, they could have even went skimpier than that if they wanted to, but like it actually served a purpose with her outfit. And then it was like the Jill Valentine one was more like fan service than anything else. And it's kind of like with Yuri and Carlos and all them, they were kind of like fan service in the movie too.
Yeah, they were. Well, the thing with Jill's is yes, it was the outfit she wore in the game, but also they in the game she's ambushed by zombies in her apartment, so she doesn't get time to put on something better. So, but in the movie they're just like that's just what she chose to wear that day. But and then they gave crap for the reporter Terry, and they're like, well, she's kind of a journalist, so she was covering a story, so she was also trying to escape. She was trying to escape the city, so why would she be wearing like riot gear or something? She's a reporter, so she's also just trying to get out of the city. But that's why they had the excuse for the heat wave to address some of the concerns. And this movie was shot in November in Toronto, which is funny. Which they were cold, so because they had to wear skimpy outfits.
Yeah,
It
I'm
was the
sure that would have sucked being in skimpy outfits while it being cold as shit. Because like out
yeah.
there, I'm sure it was probably super super cold.
That's the one time the person playing Nemesis is probably like, "Thank God I'm in this hot and heavy suit."
I know,
But
right? Because he probably had so much prosthetics on. Good Lord, he was probably like, "Hey, I don't feel nothing. That doesn't bother me at all," because
He
yeah.
he
still
had to been in
sweat his
so
ass.
much, huh?
He probably still sweat his ass off though.
Oh,
Oh
he
yeah, I'm
probably
sure he
did.
did. But
I'm
yeah,
being, I'm just being facetious with the whole. He was probably loving it.
Oh no,
Uh,
and the
and
oh yeah,
not cold inside that outfit, so he's still.
no, yeah, he's gonna be sweating his balls off. This was the last Resident Evil film to be released on VHS for you kids out there, and it was also the first one to be released on Blu-ray. So kind of cool.
nice. It
Josh,
was funny. I just got the movie just like 20 minutes ago because I noticed that it was on sale. So I was like, "Ooh,
oh, is it on
nice."
sale? I already
Yeah,
own it on
Yeah,
Vudu,
I bought
so
all.
it's like
most of them
I
are
bought
like
all
on
six.
sale for like $7.99. So
Yeah, I
let's
bought
see
all
that.
nice.
I bought all 6 of them for $30.
Yeah, see, like I'm not gonna like. If anything, I'm gonna own the first three, maybe, because I mean,
Well,
three was good, but like it was like when it was like the start of the downhill slide of the Resident Evil movies, in my opinion. But this is
I'm
by far my favorite one. So it's like
much
shit. I
renting,
don't have
so
this one.
that's as much as renting them. We're gonna watch all of them for this podcast, so I figured I'd just buy them
Oh yeah,
because
Yeah,
it would cost just as much to rent the damn thing.
it would, and you can It's $29.99 to get it in. Oh no, I don't want to actually. I already own it. Why would I buy it again? You could get it in four. You could get it in 4K for $30, all 6 movies.
Nice.
Like,
Yep, that's what I did this morning.
I got the only one I need. I got 3 and 4 in standard, and everything else I got in HD. So I need to get the other 2 in HD, and then I'll be.
Because Jeremy probably hasn't watched Welcome to Raccoon City yet either. The latest.
Oh,
no, I have not.
Because I don't think that's with the set. I think it's the final chapter is the last one in that one.
Yeah,
but what's it called? I'm curious with the show too. On a side tangent, because it seems like it's. I thought that they were gonna do stuff with like Jill and stuff, but it looks like it's in the future. So I don't know if I'm gonna like that at all. But by far out of the movies, this is my favorite one. Like no matter what, just because it starts off from jump like with the action, and it just never really like it gives you a nice decent amount of like horror into it, but like it kind of gives you the feel of the third. Like not so much of the second one for me, but I definitely feel the vibes from the third game in this movie. Because the third game is my favorite. Like Nemesis is my favorite out of all of them, which a lot of people think that the second game is their favorite, but the third one for me, I don't know why. Probably just because like it scared the crap out of me running away from the Nemesis the whole time. But like it's by far my favorite Resident Evil movie, or like game. I mean, like game and movie is pretty much my favorites.
I think Resident Evil 2 is my favorite. The original Resident Evil 2. No hate against.
That's what I'm saying. I mean, the remasters or like the remakes are good, but like
they're really good.
Like the remake of the third one though, definitely a step down compared to Nemesis though, just because of certain things. But that's why I say like the whole vibe that they had for this movie just hit like every vibe that I had from playing the game, like with the people that they had in the movie. And then even with the Nemesis, I liked how the Nemesis harkened back to the first movie. like I just loved a lot of the things that they did in this movie, and it makes sense because how it's a different director.
And this is the reason why the Paul W.S. Anderson, after you're not directing this one, that's why he went on to do the rest of them. Was because of not
because he was doing something else, right? Or something.
I think you said
at this he was filming a different movie.
Yeah, he did something else during this time. Let's look him up real quick. Because I read that somewhere else. And let's see, Paul W.S. Anderson. No. What was in 2000? What did I say? 2002 for this?
I think so.
Yeah, 2002. Resident Evil, Alien versus Predator was in 2004.
Oh yeah, that's what it was. Yeah,
and
the first one, right, where it had the black chick playing as the lead. I forgot her name.
So I think he was directing this one instead of doing Resident Evil Apocalypse. And let's see.
Well, I mean, they probably offered him more money to do that too, because
they probably did.
I mean, more than likely. I mean, but I mean, still, I definitely don't think he should have taken over the other movies. I think the director that did this one should have done all the other ones. I mean, I'm not saying like, I don't know. This was the start of like turning Alice into like a beast too.
Because this is when she
that, and that's mostly what like I hate about certain movies though, like the later movies in the franchise. Like when we start talking about them like later on, it's just like kind of that they do in shows too, that they make them super overpowered, and then they're like, oh shit, I gotta take the power back a little bit. Like, oh, they're super overpowered. Like at the end where she's like killing the dudes with her brain, pretty much. It's kind of
Yeah,
like
she
that.
becomes.
So
She,
it's like showing like she could just kill people with her mind practically, and then it's like in the next one, it's like they just have a reason why she doesn't do that all the time. It's just like, okay, if you're gonna introduce crazy shit like that, you should just like go full tilt. Like I think about the movie, what's it called, Crank, when I think about that, because like Crank was just absurd at one point, and then the second one just went 150% more crazy than the first movie was. And I think that's what they should. And like, I don't think that they should pull the reins back on somebody and take their powers away for story reasons or whatever. And I think that's one of the things that I hated about these movies as a franchise, is that it
yeah,
seemed like there was always a push and pull thing with her, where they were like, oh, we got to show her to be the strongest out of them all, but then I can't get her too strong where she like there's like no story there, essentially.
yeah,
But that's why I say that this is the best one, because it shows like, because I think it's like I don't remember how long she's before she's even in the movie. I think it's like 20 or 30 minutes before she's even
yeah. They,
in the movie.
yeah, because they show up at she shows up at the church when the liquor's coming in.
Yeah. So like it gives them a certain amount, like a long time before she even shows up. So it's kind of like it kind of reminds me of I'm trying to think of another movie that does the same thing, where I mean I also remember Metal Gear Solid 2, but it's in reverse order that way. Like they did Solid Snake at the first like section, and then it went straight to somebody else. It kind of like works like that in opposite ways. Like, you know,
Yeah,
instead of just off the jump, it shows Alice and then cuts into Jill and them. It works the opposite way around.
yeah. So let's see. I just lost my train of thought because I'm tired. Um, I actually, what I really liked at this, I like this movie. I think Mike Epps has some of the best lines in this movie, where he's like GTA motherfucker, and he starts
Yeah,
running
when he
over the
runs over
zombies,
the zombies, yeah.
and then he gets distracted by zombie stripper titties and wrecks his car.
And the dude with the oh man, when they first like really show the Nemesis, where he has the minigun and he's taking out the
Yeah,
S.T.A.R.S
yeah.
members. Yeah, and then like him sitting there with both pistols just standing up, like it's like, how in the fuck did he not get hit? With
Right?
a minigun just going there, and then they just it really shows like it was like that he was just going for the S.T.A.R.S members the whole time, which I
Yeah,
thought that's why I thought that that was a little bam, just a little extra cherry on top on the storyline part, where it
do you
was
know
like he
what
was only going after them.
do you know what STAR stands for?
I don't remember the actual like
It
acronym.
it stands for Special Tactics and Rescue Service.
Because I think they even had like most of the characters' names, because it doesn't show up under the cast part, but I think most of the people
Nah,
that was in the S.T.A.R.S thing was supposed to represent most of the people that he killed in the third game too. I think.
yeah, because in the third game is where he's hunting down the stars, which is why he's after Jill. And he just every time you see him, he's like stars. Even though technically Jill was on suspension, and in the third game, it wasn't technically a star, part of the Stars team anymore. Did you know Claire was supposed to be in this movie? But
Uh,
yeah, they they were gonna have Claire Redfield in it, but she couldn't be in it because the original actors dropped out, and then the second actress dropped out. So they're like, I guess we're not doing Claire. Which
so who else is supposed to be in it? Just people from the first movie, or just people that were gonna play as Claire in them?
It was gonna be, I think Claire and Jill were gonna be in it. I don't see anything where Jill wasn't gonna be in it, but they wanted Claire, and then both actresses had to bow out for basically the same reason. They just one says scheduling conflicts, the other one didn't give a reason, so that's why she didn't show up until Extinction.
Well, so it's supposed to be Ali Larder playing as Claire in this one supposedly too, or did they have somebody else that they picked?
They had two other actresses, Gina Phillips and Emily Bergel were the two actresses they had cast, but they both dropped out.
Well, I mean, it makes sense anyway. Kind of like it worked out for a good reason, though, because otherwise it would have probably been bloated if they had another, like if they had more stories with like somebody else.
Yeah,
because I can't see them like taking out one of the other characters just to fit Claire. You know, like especially if they took out LJ to have Claire.
Yeah, LJ.
I don't think it would have like worked as well.
No, LJ's like my favorite character. He got done dirty in the third movie, which we'll talk about then. But I do want, this is for you, Josh, because I think you like this band. Did you know that two former members of Evanescence are in the film?
Really?
Yeah. The scene where the Carlos throws the knife into the infected person's head, that was former guitarist Ben Moody. Why can't I read today?
Oh, and he was actually in the movie as a zombie?
Yeah. And then the former drummer, Rocky Gray, is one of the infected in the mob that stormed the rooftop before the missile hits. So he's at the end of the movie.
Okay, that's surprising. I wonder how in the hell they were able to pull that shit off.
Yeah,
because
I thought you'd appreciate that.
I haven't seen anything from Ben Moody or the other drummer in like anything since they left Evanescence. So that's just surprising to me. And it shows like how much like effects that they put on somebody's face where it's hard for you to even tell
who they are.
Person, because I remember what the dude looks like, but obviously I never even knew that he was a zombie in the movie.
It's crazy, right? Oh, here's one more for you. Mike Epps acted Snoop Dogg as LJ. Snoop was going to be LJ, but he had to bow out due to personal issues.
That would have probably been Snoop's first movie too, if that was the case. I think Mike Epps did better though, but I like Mike Epps better.
I like Mike Epps, but like, because I know that Snoop was in. He was in Starsky and Hutch.
He was also in was it called Soul Plane?
Yeah, he was in Soul Plane, and then he was in my favorite movie with Snoop in it, which is How High with Wiz Khalifa in it.
Yeah, I think.
But of course, Snoop Dogg in a movie about smoking weed all the time.
Yeah, he was.
That motherfucker smoked like baskets of weed.
Yeah, he was. I think because Starsky and Hutch came out the same year.
Oh, so he probably just did film that one instead.
Probably. Maybe he wanted to be Huggy Bear more than LJ. But
well, to me, I like this movie better than Starsky and Hutch. So
I never saw Starsky and Hutch, but the reason why
it was all right, it was funny, but it wasn't great.
Well, my thing is they remade all these 80s shows and made them comedies when like they were serious or something like that. Because like Starsky and Hutch was a serious cop drama in the 70s, and then
is it Ben Stiller and like Owen Wilson? I think it was like Owen Wilson and Ben Stiller playing the Starsky and Hutch, I think.
Yeah, and then they meet the original Starsky and Hutch in the film.
Yeah, it's just weird because they don't seem like cops to me.
Wow.
Whatever.
Let's see.
Going down a rabbit hole, man.
Yes. But while not mentioned in the film, it is implied on newspaper clippings that in Jill's apartment, that she's serving a suspension for the events at the mansion and the Arcalay Mountains, thus making the first into the movie universe, although it appeared to have happened off screen. So
See,
there's a little bit.
that's the main thing for me between these ones too, is that I was wondering if they made it canonical, like, or well, I don't know if that's the word, where the first movie or the first game was in the same universe at like happened at the same time as the first movie did, and that's why they never like did a movie about the mansion that they were in, or if they were supposed, because I took that the first movie was that they were in that mansion that Wesker and them went in, or at least that's what I was thinking when I was younger. I think this movie can't, when it was in, what was it, 2000 or something, when the first Resident Evil movie came out.
Yeah, 2000, 2002? 2002.
Yeah, so what's it called? I would have been, I'm trying to think how old I would have been. That's like an extra like 18, like in my 20s or something, or like before 20 years old.
It would have been 20.
Okay, yeah. So like I was still pretty young for it, so thinking back on it, like it's just totally different. So I'm just thinking, so like I just took it like that they were doing that mansion part, but now knowing that they do the stuff with Jill, and you're talking about how it looks like she was suspended, it would probably make sense that there was two mansions. They told the first movie in their own part, and then all the other stuff was in their own timeline. Like Alice's stuff is in the same timeline as everything else.
It's kind of like the kind of way it is like the first movie happens at the Spencer Mansion, then Resident Evil the game, the first game happens, and then Apocalypse happens. So it's like a different timeline, but the only thing that happens in both timelines is Resident Evil the game, the first game.
So do you think that that was the Spencer Mansion that they were at in the first movie?
It was. Yeah, it was the Spencer. It was the same mansion.
So it happened before the events of the first game.
Yeah, the first if you want to look at the timeline for the movie universe, it goes Resident Evil 2002, then Resident Evil the game, and then Resident Evil's Apocalypse, Extinction, blah 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 blah, and then up until the worst one ever, the final chapter. Just one more quick thing, because the scene where Alice is running at the end of the movie while the chopper is firing at her, and then cornered by Umbrella troops, and then she drops down to the ground with the gun, shoots them, and takes them out. That's actually almost shot for shot of the opening FMV of Claire Redfield in Resident Evil Code Veronica, as she's infiltrating a Umbrella facility in that game.
That's pretty funny. I mean, the things that you like you don't pay attention to until they say something like that. You wouldn't think about it unless you actually played the game. But I mean, I haven't played, like, I think I played that game like, oh man, it's been a while since I don't even remember barely even playing that game now. Mostly because, I mean, it was an okay game compared to like all the others in the franchise. I would say that that's probably near the bottom for me.
Which one?
Code Veronica.
Code Veronica? I like Code Veronica.
I mean, let me just say, I don't think I'm like probably the bottom of the barrel for Resident Evil games is Resident Evil 6. Just because I think it was too ambitious and they were trying way too many different damn things. Not saying that it was bad either. Like telling 4 different stories in the same game is a difficult thing to do, and how all of them had a certain vibe to it is a difficult thing to pull off. But like it's like 6 and then Code Veronica for me, and then it's like Resident Evil 5, and then it goes up from there. Like
goes up from there.
Yeah, it's like I would still say Nemesis is probably my favorite. Then it's probably I'm like, it would probably be a tie for Resident Evil 2 and 4 after that. And then I really like 8 and 7 a lot. That's what I'm saying. Most of the Resident Evil games I really like. Especially Village shocked me like how good that game is. I'm like the innovation that they did in the game compared to like the other ones, I just really enjoyed. But that's what I'm saying. Like I liked that all of them as a whole, but those are like my least favorite ones just because I don't really remember most of the stories on both of those games. Especially in the fifth one, how Chris like uppercuts a boulder and drops it into lava. That was the start of like them being full on absurd in their video games. Like they're just like, okay, let's try other shit. And hey, there's this huge boulder. I'm just gonna punch it into lava. Okay. But yeah, like that's why I say like the games are all good anyway, and then it's kind of cool seeing the correlation where like you see them in the movies, but then you didn't, like, especially unless you played the game and paid attention to the sequences, you would never know that would be like straight out of the game.
I feel you. It's I was looking for something here. I was going to look at. So I have more trivia, but I'm just going to list some things I thought about, and then we can start what our thoughts on the movie were. I wonder how the people that got out of Raccoon City or Umbrella would describe what happened to the city. Because I wonder if the meltdown theory was always the cover story once the hive was breached and the outbreak started. Like, was that always the plan? And if Jill and Carlos are all over the news, then how do they explain them being able to pose as Umbrella agents to get in the facility? However, I understand why Isaacs lets them go, since he could track Alice via the changes they made to her. But also, how long did it take for the world to fall apart from the virus? We see that parts of Resident Evil Extinction we see that parts of that are ignored in later movies. So, but I think the movie takes place several years after. They never explain what happens to Dr. Ashford's daughter, Angie. I think in the novelization, it stated that she was killed by Alice when she was under the control of Umbrella. But I've never read the novel.
And Angie was the one that was the robot, right?
Angie was the little girl.
Well, I mean, like the one that they showed in the first game or the first movie, the one that's the hologram, isn't that based around her though? Or did I get that wrong?
No, I think it was supposed to be based on her. I think the Red Queen was supposed to be based on her, but I think something changed because I remember reading that some recently when I was doing the research for this, but I just didn't write it down.
But honestly, I'm sure that probably Umbrella, if they're run like a certain organization, I'm sure that they probably had fail safes all over the place just in case something like that would happen. And it's kind of like the military. You don't think that the military probably, if they had the same certain circumstance to well, like say like if the same thing happened, that they wouldn't try to do the same thing where they wouldn't just nuke it and just say, oh yeah, like a fuel main broke or something like that, you know?
Yeah, because like I like how easily Umbrella discredits the reporter video that they spread to the media.
Yeah,
it's like I love this movie though. This movie, none of the Resident Evil movies are great. Like you don't go to a Resident Evil movie like I'm gonna watch some like great science fiction or like this masterpiece of cinema. You go to movies like Resident Evil because you want to eat popcorn and watch a fun movie. and forget about things for like a couple
Especially
hours.
if you like horror movies or action movies at the same time, or at least like some where it has like a blend of that. Like I'm trying to think of other ones that came out of the right around the same time. Was like it was this, and then Underworld. I think there's another one that I'm thinking of too, but I can't remember it offhand. But there was a
I
few of them where they were just straight up like actiony horror movies that came out at around the same time. The main ones that I remember was like Resident Evil, and then Underworld and stuff, where they were doing vampires and werewolves and stuff, but it was like all actiony related, but also like had a horror theme in it.
didn't Van Helsing come out in 2004 as well?
It was around that time, yeah.
Yeah, this
I
was.
was just thinking of franchises though.
Yeah, the Underworld franchise started. Yeah, Van Helsing came out in 2004 too with Hugh Jackman. So this was like the trend was like these type of movies, horror action, and then there was Van Helsing. There was the Underworld series that got started about this time.
And I know that Silent Hill at one point was made shortly thereafter too.
Yeah,
And
because
it
Underworld
was
came out.
right when they were doing like a bunch of horror movies that they were redoing or like starting as movies. It was like Silent
Yeah,
Hill after that, and then it was like I'm trying to think of other ones. Damn. I know that there's
yeah,
like a few other ones too, but I
yeah.
can't remember offhand.
Silent Hill came out in 2006, and then Underworld was in '03. So this was like kind of the trend with the feel of these movies. Like they all had that certain aesthetic. Even Blade 2 kind of had the same feel to it. Like
Oh yeah, and by far, Blade 2 is my favorite like Blade movie. Good
I
lord,
like Blade 2. Yeah,
it's
because
just
Blade
so
2
good.
because Blade 2 came out in '02 as well, so the same year as Resident Evil. And so like they all felt like they had this like certain style to it. They all did.
Yeah,
And
Blade 3 sucked.
I never saw Blade 3 and I'm glad I
Or
didn't because
Blade,
I've heard it's like
you would call it.
Blade Trinity was.
See, I mean, I'm on the other ilk where I thought it was okay. I mean, I'm like, okay, like I always like movies where they have like, oh, like a group of people going. It's like this movie, how it has like a group of them going against like a bunch of baddies. And the only thing that I hate is like all of them like slowly get killed. And that's the only thing that I hate about certain movies like this is like they do stuff where they're fighting off people, but that they always like not like most of them like survive at the end or whatever. It's always like one or two people always at the end, like no matter what. And like there's barely anybody where it's like, oh, 5 or 6 people win or something like that, you know?
Yeah, this
Like the only
and
one that I saw where a lot of them would survive at the end was like Scream. Like really, I mean, like the main people that you thought were gonna eventually die at one point didn't die, like Dewey and stuff like that. You would have thought that at one point something would have happened, and then and like most of them survived throughout the whole movie, which is surprising in
which
most
is
times.
funny. Which is funny because originally Dewey was supposed to die, but they're like they they were going to kill him off, and then they decided to keep him alive.
Which I mean, it was a good call for me, but that's why I say like that. I always like ensemble movies. So like whenever I watch Blade Trinity or whatever, sure it wasn't to the caliber as the second film of Blade 2 or whatever, but like, and the bad guy wasn't nearly as good. But like I liked I like a lot of Ryan Reynolds in my movies anyway. I don't know why. Probably because his sense of humor is pretty funny, but like I just like how he quips and all that stuff. But like he was the like I didn't really care for Jessica Biel all that much in the movie, but I still didn't find it to be terrible. I thought it was okay at best. It's not like one that is like really good, but like if I see it on TV or something, I'll watch it. Like I'll leave it on. So
I feel you. What was everyone's favorite part of this movie of Resident Evil?
I would say probably the church scene when they explode. Explode I think it was the liquor that they explode.
Yeah, the liquor.
Where they do the slow-mo bullet thing. That's like one of the best scenes to me. I just like that whole vibe of the church scene though. Are you moving your lapel mic around or something?
No, I'm trying to adjust my earbud.
Oh, okay. Yeah, I forgot that. That's what happens because we could hear it when you move it around.
Sorry, it's hurting my ear for some reason.
Well, that's why I usually get the over the ear ones.
Well, I have
me.
These are like Sony earbuds. They're fine. It's just for some reason it's bothering me today. Last time I used them, they didn't bother me. But Jeremy, what was your favorite part of this movie?
Same part.
The church scene?
Yeah, that's why I didn't say anything.
You're good. You're good. I like the church scene. What's that?
No, I was just saying from my standpoint, though, this movie was what I expected out of a Resident Evil movie. The first one wasn't. I think I mentioned that in the previous podcast that we talked about the first one, that it didn't. The first one really didn't come off as a Resident Evil movie that much, but this one did. Like it. That's what I expected. So it was a much better movie. But
this one was a much better film.
And the funny thing, I read about the reviews, though, it was like the lowest reviewed movie of all of them.
Which is weird, because it's like, I think it's like one of the best one. I think it's the best one out of the series.
So they're saying that it was like their least favorite, or just that it wasn't reviewed a whole lot?
No, it was the lowest reviewed. I think on Rotten Tomatoes it got 19% or some shit.
Wow.
Yeah,
that's insane compared to the other movies in the franchise.
Well, yeah, I think Nightfall or something like that was
Nightfall. I fucking hate that movie.
I know we're gonna try to like weasel in the Nightfall shit like in every podcast now.
Well, that's
just at least shit on it for one time.
Well, yeah. Well, it was more in comparison to the percentages. When you look at it, the 7% was what it got. So to say that Resident Evil Apocalypse, let's see, 19% critics, 60% audience score. So if that tells you anything.
I learned a long time ago that critics don't seem to watch the same movies as normal people do. I don't get it. Yeah, because like 60% audience score, which means half of people liked it. How did Extinction get a higher critics score, 25%, compared to like 19% when most of the fans hated Resident Evil Extinction. Hated it.
Yeah, that's why I don't focus on the reviews and stuff. It's because I think some people just like, I don't know, just say that it sucks just to say that it sucks a lot of the time.
I was just kind of crazy when you look at that and you see that what we've reviewed in the past in comparison. This was a much better movie than a lot of
much better movie. Speaking of Nightfall, Emmanuel Levy from EmmanuelLevy.com gave Nightfall 3 out of 5 stars. I don't know who that guy is, but I have no respect for you because he gave this movie 3 stars.
That's why
3 out of 5 stars.
That's the main thing about movies, though. It's very decisive for a bunch of people. But I talked to people before where they said that they didn't understand the plot of Fight Club. Like I don't get that. I was like, you got to be a dummy to not understand what Fight Club was. I know that it's like something where you have to watch it more than once, but like that's why I say like these movies are super simple, right? Like they're just like, oh, okay, so you got to get away from these people, and then I liked how like they explained who the Nemesis was. How that's why I say that it harkened back to the first film was, and then I liked how like he fought off I guess you could say indoctrination for like why he was going after the S.T.A.R.S members in the first place.
Yeah,
Was
he
like
fought
at
it.
one point when he saw Alice, he fought against it, and then he was able to fight against them the whole time, which I thought was awesome. And I liked how they did like, I mean, it sucked knowing that he pretty much went out of pussy ways out kind of thing, where it just like took an explosion and then they just never mentioned him again.
Yeah.
Much. But like, I just liked how it was like they even did a redemption arc for the Nemesis when they found out who it was and stuff like that. I thought that was cool that they even told that in this movie. Like instead of, because they could have just not done anything and then had it just be the Nemesis that he was taking out at the end of the day, or that they were going to like take him out. But no, they had the balls to explain it like he was the one that was in the first movie that they took away with when they took Alice away, right? And then they explained like he just fought it the whole time and then just went after the people that indoctrinated him. And I thought that was a cool little thing that they didn't necessarily have to put in the movie.
Yeah, I like how he was able to reclaim his humanity.
And I think it's mainly because he saw Alice, though. Like,
Yeah,
because if he didn't see Alice, I don't think he would have just kept on doing his thing. But knowing that he saw Alice, I think that's the main reason why he remembered his memories and stuff. Or at least that's the way that it just seemed like it was playing out. Like,
You could tell he even looked the Nemesis looked what I remember the Nemesis looking like in the game too.
oh yeah, he was very
he was.
like it looks like the Nemesis. The only difference is it's probably in the game he's like a lot taller than they made him out to be in the movie, but because it looks like he might be like 6'6" or some shit, or like taller than that in the game. But I mean, also at the same time, you're like looking at Jill Valentine, and I think she's supposed to be like 5'9" or something.
Yeah, he's huge. For one, my favorite part of this movie was probably LJ. All the stuff where he's talking, all his lines are the best. Where he's like, "You can call me LJ, given the informal situation." And of course, the previously mentioned GTA motherfuckers. If you watch this movie on the Sci-Fi Channel, the way they edit it, it's hilarious because he's saying GTA motherfuckers, but in the Sci-Fi Channel edit, he's like GTA mother truckers. So he's like truckers. He's saying truckers, and then the scene where he's like with the stars, and they're like, "Do you have a gun?" He's like, "Man, my shit is custom," and he has the gold guns. And
Yeah.
in the Sci-Fi Channel version, he's like, "Man, my stuff is custom." It's like it's really bad dubbing, but it's hilarious.
Well, I mean, most of the time, like a lot of dubbing that they do for like on cable channels, it's just pretty funny.
It's
Die Hard's like one of the main things.
Die Hard with a Vengeance, the TV edit. Oh my gosh, this to me, LJ's being dubbed is like up there, right up there with McClane changing out his cuss words in the time where he rips Dennis Franz's character a new butthole. It's insane. I love this movie. I think this movie, out of the whole series, this one does a better job of interpreting the source material, in my opinion. While the first movie had callbacks to the games and stuff, as far as like doing one thing, another thing happens. I think this one was better all the stronger movie. Like I don't think there was as much story in this one. It was more action horror, which is fine. I mean, just be what it's supposed to. Let it be what it's supposed to be. Um, the other thing I don't get is the undead trying to attack them in the graveyard. So they never talked anything about the virus getting into the water table and the ground. And so there's no reason why the already dead would come back and try to escape their graves. That makes no sense. Because then they would have to break through the coffins. You know?
If that's the only bad thing out of this movie,
Well,
or like the thing where you're just like, I don't understand it, then I think that's a pretty good thing.
Yeah, I thought the same watching that part, but at the same time, I'm like, okay, we're talking about zombies anyway, so
they were probably like, man, these people haven't been attacked in 2 minutes. Send in the zombies!
Yeah.
Shut up.
Yep. That's what I was thinking too. Like I was thinking that they were just like, well, we got to kill some people or have them attack more zombies. So here you go.
Here's a goof I found. Character error. This is on IMDb. I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna go back to it because I was looking up some of the other movies. But this is something about Jill Valentine. So Terry, the reporter, and this I'm gonna read it. I'm gonna read it word for word. Terry's death is entirely Jill's fault. Being a trained and seasoned police officer, she would never send a clearly unprepared and vulnerable civilian to go off alone, armed with a handgun she doesn't even know how to use, in a building potentially filled with zombies, no less. Especially after she showed numerous times prior that she can't fight and easily panics. Furthermore, she would never suggest that the three of them, Jill, LJ, and Terry, split up to search the school. Which maybe LJ and her split up because she knows LJ's probably got street smarts. But this person, whoever wrote this goof, is completely correct.
Yeah. Well, on a side note, I was just sitting there thinking about this. You know how we were talking about the tomato score on this one? Well, another one that has a similar name, X-Men Apocalypse, has a 46% tomato meter on there. How does that have a better tomato meter, Rotten Tomato score than this movie does? Like that movie was trash, man.
I didn't like Apocalypse.
Well, that's what I'm
X-Men
saying.
Apocalypse.
I mean, it was just a random thing that I just saw. That I was just like, it's kind of funny how it has the same name, but knowing that they just have a better score, and I'm like, how does that have a better score? That just shows that how divisive movies are, though. Like how some people could like a trash movie more than others and stuff like that, which eventually we should talk about Troll 2 at one point.
Troll 2. Oh my god. They're going to eat them, then eat me. Oh my god.
Just, oh my god, that scene is just so dumb. But just because the guy's acting performance on it. And
exactly.
I
love this movie.
If anybody hasn't watched this movie, you should watch it. It's just awesome.
If you watch any of the Resident Evil movies, watch this one. Watch the first one so you can introduce to Alice, but definitely watch this one. This is the best one out of the series. If we were to do Rest in Peace, Rise from the Grave, or do that with this one, Let It Die, this one would definitely be Rest in Peace because this movie's fine. It doesn't need to be rebooted, at least not in the same vein as movies get rebooted. It's fine the way it is.
It's the best Resident Evil film.
It is.
Show or whatever, even compared to like some of the animated movies that I've seen them do, this is the best one. Hands down to me. just because it gives you that Resident Evil vibe to me.
I'll give watch the rest of them because I haven't seen them all. Like these are the only two I've seen.
Oh, you haven't seen the rest of them. Okay.
Yeah, the final chapter is the only one that I haven't seen, but it's mostly because Afterlife burnt me out on this franchise. Like after I watched Afterlife, I was like, "Yep, nope, I'm not watching the next one."
The first one I bought on Blu-ray was Afterlife. I have it I think I have it as a steelbook.
Oh my god. When we start talking about that one, I got a lot of things to say about that movie.
I'm not going to hate it. I will save it for that time, but this one you should definitely watch. We're going to go all the next Sci-Fi Graveyards are going to be the Resident Evil series up and including Welcome to Raccoon City. And boy, oh boy, can I not wait to talk about that one. I'll probably have more to say. It's kind of easier to pick apart the bad movies than the ones we like because you're kind of like, I don't want to make fun of the ones I like, or
well, I sit there and I try to like think of it as like I'm going to like nitpick the stuff that I would normally do, but I still like even most of the nitpicking that I do on like this one or like the first one or whatever, I still love the movie for what it is. I mean, like that's what I'm saying. There's like it's whenever you make a list for pros and cons and stuff, and then you see like all the pros are like outweighing the cons. It's kind of like that type of thing. It's like some of these movies, they have a lot of cons in them, but they're just still more pros than there are cons.
Yeah, because this movie isn't like this movie. Like I said about this movie, isn't this like cinematic masterpiece? But it's not supposed to be. It's a popcorn film. And the thing that gets me mad is like some of these critics are like, blah blah blah. I was like, you can just watch a movie just to watch and enjoy a film. Not everything has to be this great introspective piece of cinema. Like it doesn't all have to be, this great look at the inner workings of the human mind or talk about some social issue or this or that. Like movies can be fun. And I think that's what people forget. I think they forget movies can be fun. And to me, this is a fun film. The acting's fine. The action's really good. Is there a lot of character errors and stuff in it? Yeah. I mean, Jill totally got that reporter killed, got her ate by children. So, but I still love the movie. This is my favorite out of the series. This would definitely be rest in peace because it does not need to be touched. It's fine just the way it is. It's enjoyable. I think Jeremy and Josh agree with me on that one.
Yep.
So, but we'll come back and we'll be discussing Resident Evil Extinction, which starts a huge departure for the Resident Evil franchise. And I actually look forward to talking about that one because it will actually be like a better conversation because I think for that one we'll have more to say.
Yeah.
So any last minute ads anyone would like to do?
Nope.
All right. So for Josh and Jeremy, I'm Joseph. Thank you for listening to Sci-Fi Graveyard. And if you like this, check out some of the other podcasts hosted by the Heart of Geek, which would be Scream Creeps, Wrestling with the Willies, and
and then Morbid
Instinct. Sorry, I made myself laugh, so I saw my share thought. But
yeah,
anyway, y'all
you had to laugh, a giggle at the Wrestling with the Willies.
But anyway,
my God, Peter.
Peter.
I can't do the voice.
All right, y'all. Everyone have a good night, and thanks for listening. Bye. Hello, before we get started with this episode of Sci-Fi Graveyard, I just want to let you know that I am also part of another podcast called Out the Airlock, where we also discuss science fiction films and decide if they should be thrown out the airlock or rushed to the med bay.
If you like Sci-Fi Graveyard, please give that a listen. It is out the airlock, and it is also on Anchor, Spotify, and Amazon. And now to Sci-Fi Graveyard.